Good morning. Today we're going to review linear equations. This is to what we're about to do, systems of equations. So in this video, our objective is simply to write equations in slope-intercept form. That's our objective. So how do we write equations in slope-intercept form? Well, first remember that slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So what we want to do is we have to get the y by itself. So we're going to move anything not attached to the y to the right-hand side. And we're going to do that by adding or subtracting. We do the opposite. Then once we have y by itself, if there's anything attached to the y, like a coefficient, we're going to have to divide both sides by that coefficient and both terms by that coefficient. And once we've done that, we will have solved for y. So here's an example. Now these examples are coming from homework, which is you have two-sided homework. The first page says cryptic quiz, and you're given several problems and you have to put them in slope-intercept form and match. So if you follow along with me, you should have 4 of the, I think it may be 15 problems, however many problems, you'll have 4 done if you just follow along. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is we want to solve for y. So in order to do that, we have to move the x to the right side. We're going to subtract because the x is positive. Okay, so we're going to subtract x from both sides. Now, once we've done that, we're really done because now we have y equals negative x plus 5. Notice I put the x in front. It doesn't matter. It's just standard notation that the variable goes in the front. So we have y equals negative x plus 5, and voila, we're done. We have solved for y. That was it for that problem. The second problem, this is number 5 in your homework. The 3x is positive. So to move it to the other side, we have to subtract 3x from both sides. So we subtract 3x from both sides. Now, what you have to remember is that negative comes down with that y. So we end up with negative y equals negative 3x minus 10. Now, we can't have negative y. The y has to be 1, have a coefficient of 1 and be positive. So the first thing we want to do is, the next thing we want to do is divide by the negative 1. And we're going to divide everything by negative 1. All 3 terms by negative 1. And when we do that, the negative 3x becomes positive, the 10 becomes positive, so we have y equals 3x plus 10. And once again, you have successfully solved for y. Problem number 10 in your homework, we're once again going to solve for y. So what do you think the first step is? That is correct. We have to get rid of the 4x first. So we're going to subtract, because the 4x is positive, we're going to subtract 4x from both sides. That leaves us with negative 3y equals negative 4x minus 2. Notice that negative 2 just became a subtraction sign. So now we need to get rid of the negative 3. So we're going to divide both sides by negative 3. And we divide everything by negative 3, even though it gives us fractions. Fractions are preferred to decimals, but we can just write that as negative 4/3, and a negative divided by negative makes it positive 4/3, sorry. And then negative 2 divided by negative 3 makes it positive 2/3. Example, now we have 8y minus 3x equals negative 6. Now what I want you to notice here is that this is written sort of differently. The 3x is actually to the right of the 8y because it's the 3x that we need to get rid of. And since we're subtracting the 3x, we're going to add 3x to both sides. Since it's negative 3x on the left, when we move it to the right, it becomes positive 3x. So we add 3x to both sides. Once again, we can't add the negative 6 and the negative 3 because they're not like terms. So we write this as 8y is equal to 3x minus 6. Then we divide both sides by 8. And we get y is equal to 3/8x minus 3/4 or 6 over 8. I just simplified 6 over 8 to 3/4. And there you have it. Okay? Remaining problems on the cryptic quiz, and I am checking this for homework when I return on tomorrow. So please complete this, and remember, your dreams don't work unless you do, so let's get to work. Thank you, and I will see you tomorrow.